Okay, everything looks to be correct. Yep. Okay, why isn't it up on YouTube? All right, it is up. Okay. Okay, let me do one other check here. Okay, let me see. It's not up on Facebook. No, but it looks like it is up on YouTube. Alrighty. So I guess we'll get started then. You ready? All right, say some words so I can make sure that your volume's good. All right, here we go. Damn it, why do I want to come on YouTube? On Facebook, rather. All right, here we go. About to go live on YouTube. And here we go. Hey, and welcome into Maven Sports Show. I'm your host, Haven Harrington, and I am joined today by a very, very special person. Let me introduce you to the man, the myth, the legend, the guy who knows more about mixed martial arts than I have ever known in my entire life. And the man's only like 25 years old. He's still a young cat, still young in the game. I give you soon to be recent graduate of the greatness that is the University of Louisville Fighting Cardinals, the beak with teeth, my man Devin Hall. Devin, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Just got done watching the fights. Couldn't be better.
Ah, good deal, good deal. So Devin, man, so tell us now. You wrote a great intro to this fight. Now, did this fight? I mean, did the card? Did it live up to your expectations? Because you gave us some lofty expectations. You were like, this could be one of the greatest fights in UFC history. Did it make it to that level?
Sadly, no. The whole fight card itself, I didn't get to see the very first main card fight against Jamal Hill and Paul Craig, but it ended in a dislocated arm for Jamal Hill, sadly, ended his undefeated streak. And then the Damian Maya fight and the Bilal Muhammad fight, it was kind of a sleeper as well. But then again, Maya's 43, age showed. But the last three fights, Nate Diaz, the icon, versus Leon Edwards, the up and coming savage in the welterweight division. Great fight. Leon won the first three rounds. Fourth round, Nate came back a little bit. Nate caught him with the left at the end of the fifth round, almost came back and won, got everybody off their feet. Then Moreno came in, beat Figueredo, became the first Mexican born champ ever in the UFC, become the new 125-pound belt holder. And then the Vittori and Adesanya fight, I thought Adesanya would have won it fairly easily, but Vittori did show heart at the end. Just there's levels to it, and Adesanya is at the top tier for middleweight compared to everybody else, really.
Wow, wow. So let's kind of go back a little bit and let's talk about that very first fight on the main card. Kind of give us your thoughts and breakdowns of that fight. Like, what did you expect going into that fight, and what do we see?
Well, I expected Jamal Hill. He was coming in 9-0, looked like a light heavyweight contender that was going to be shooting up the rankings very soon. Light heavyweight's really one of the weaker divisions right now in the UFC. But sadly, Paul Craig, the veteran from Scotland, he came in, got him in an arm bar, and held it in there a little bit too tight. And sadly, Jamal's arm completely dislocated. He didn't
Mm.
show any emotion at all, but you could just tell that the elbow right here was just completely out of socket. It was pretty brutal, but unfortunate way to end the first fight.
Man, a dislocated shoulder. That's kind of a hard way to go out. But but those guys are tough, and he'll be back soon. And I've seen several. I've been in several fights where guys have broken arms and submissions, broken legs and submissions, and like still refuse to tap out. Like when it's obvious the guy's legs broke, like you could hear it snap. Like I've been in the
Yeah.
first row and press row, like right on the cage, and you can hear this man's leg snap, and they
Mm-hmm.
still refuse to tap out. Like you're going to keep going after that, and everybody knows you're not keep going after that. But it's good. He's tough, dislocated shoulder. Had to quit. I get it completely. Man, it's a hard way to
Absolutely.
go because you want to compete, you want to finish the fight, but man, that's a hard way to kind of go out.
Yeah, and I mean, speaking of toughness, the maybe the toughest guy to ever set foot in the octagon, Nate Diaz tonight. His 2-year hiatus taken off since he last fought, and I mean, really, at first you could tell he's a little bit rusty and trying to get Leon to bait on some weird movements he was doing. He'd lean up against the fence and all that, and try to get him to come in. And I mean, it didn't work for him, but at the end of that fight, that was easily the best part of the whole main card. Whenever Diaz had a minute left, he needed a knockout to win. He caught him with that left hook, and Leon was walking like he was a newborn baby deer. I mean, it was so close. If there's 30 seconds left, Nate Diaz might have shocked the world once again, like whenever he beat McGregor the first time. They thought nobody would beat McGregor. He caught him with the chokehold, got him. Leon 9-fight win streak. Nobody gave him a shot right there, but of course it's Nate Diaz. You can't count him out ever.
It's I don't think people really understand like when you take like that much time off of any sport, boxing, MMA, mixed martial arts, whatever, man. When you take that much time off to even come back and be this competitive
Mm,
is truly amazing, especially in a fight game. When you take that much time and you're everything changes. You're 2 years older, you're 2 years slower. You kind of lose those fighting instincts. I mean, you always keep those fighting instincts, but it's not as sharp as they were when you were just, when you were first fighting. I mean, I guess since we're in Louisville, Kentucky right now. Look at Muhammad Ali. He takes like 4 years off, and he's like, excuse me, 3 years off. And when he comes back, he's not as fast. He's not as quick. He has to reinvent his fighting style in order to stay, at the top of his game. So I can just imagine taking 2 years off of the octagon, coming back, and literally just being just a couple of punches shy of putting an upset is like outstanding. It's just amazing.
hmm It's crazy because a lot of fighters do take a lot of time off between fights to recoordinate, get fully healthy, make a new game plan if the game plan didn't work out in that fight, of course. But that's where you got to respect Adesanya. Israel Adesanya, 21-1 now. Came off his first loss ever in UFC, but of course he went to 205 and fought Jan Blachowicz, and just the size difference was completely there. I mean, he did his best he possibly could, went 5 rounds, fell short, came back and faced Vittori, who's just a savage, really. I mean, he could have been the first Italian champion ever for the UFC. They gave Adesanya every single round in scoring, which I think is a little bit of controversy. I think Vittori took 2 rounds toward the beginning, but I mean, Adesanya, I mean, he fights one fight every 3 months, 4 months, just depending on what this contract says, But you just got to appreciate someone that good never taking the layoff that a lot of these stars like McGregor or like Diaz did for the 2 year uh, taking off. Like seeing him and Kamaru Usman fighting every other 3 months is awesome to see some of the best talent in the world in the middle of their prime continuously fighting.
Oh yeah, it's good to see guys just continue to grind because all too often, we've seen in boxing and other sports where guys take like, especially in boxing, where guys will take 9 to 10 months in between fights, and it seems like it's just they're fighting once a year or once every year and a half or 2 years, and it's just it's just not good for the sport. You want to see these guys compete, and when you can't see them, you kind of almost forget about them. You kind of forget they're there until they pop up for the next big fight. Now, boxing is a little bit different from MMA. I get that, but but we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully these guys won't take so much time off. McGregor, I completely understand why he's taking so much time off because he's literally on the back half of his career.
Yeah,
Actually, he's pretty much done, really.
pretty
But
much.
hey, he got the Mayweather payday, so it
He
was
got
all
that.
worth it.
Yeah, he got that. He got the proper whiskey, proper 12 whiskey payday. And I mean, really, he doesn't need fighting pretty much. His family set. Respect to him. He's the biggest name in UFC history. He's the reason why the UFC is as big as it is today. And I mean, he fights the next pay per view July 10th. I believe July 10th is actually McGregor and Poirier, round three. Both men have knockouts on each other. This is the grudge match. See who takes out, who comes out on top right here. And if this is a must win for McGregor practically.
Now, one of the things that I would like to see from UFC, and this is something that you and I talked about before, is I would like to see Dana White just kind of pay his fighters a little bit more than what they're doing now, because I want to say it's criminal, but for Conor McGregor, I think he was making the max almost like what 6 million a year before he fought Mayweather, and Mayweather's $100 million payday. Which is kind of sad because like, if you look at boxing, $6 million a year is kind of what you would make if you're the 28th ranked fighter in the world. Uh,
Exactly.
no, like literally, like you're like the 28th, 29th, maybe the 25th ranked fighter in the world. You're $6, $7 million a year. Your top fighters, your number ones, your champions, those guys, they fight, twice a year, they're making about 20, 30 million. And it's just insane that McGregor, at the top of his game, when he was Mr. UFC fighting 6, 7 times a year, is making what a 25th ranked boxer would do fighting just twice a year. It's
Yeah,
criminal.
exactly. And like whenever you look at the pay, of course, McGregor's number one. He brings in the highest pay per view totals, the highest revenue for any of his fights. And I mean, rightfully so for how much attention he brings to this the sport itself. He of course needs to be paid number one, but I mean, everybody else should definitely be making more. All these fighters on the prelims, all the no names trying to get their names up, into the rankings and everything. After every fight, they're always like, Dana, this is perfect for a performance of the night or knockout of the night, fight of the night, so they can get that $50,000 bonus, so they can actually make a decent amount and not worry about having to fight like that again to make more money for themselves.
Oh yeah, because it does take a lot of you. I mean, it does take a lot out of you to fight. If you've never been on a fight game before, seen guys like after fights, things of that nature, it takes a lot out of you in the training, even to get to to the point where these guys are can compete at this level. At the UFC level, it's just tremendous. the hours and hours upon hours you put in the gym. It almost keeps you from doing like any other part-time job. You may want to supplement your income because, man, you gotta train because unlike team sports, you can't blame anybody else. You
Mm-hmm.
can't say, Harden's a ball hog. I never got the ball, so that's why we lost. No, this is
Yeah,
all on you, buddy. You take that L, it's on you. Not only is it on you, it's going to hurt
exactly.
bad. It's going to hurt a lot. So, yeah, you don't want
That's
to take that L.
exactly, and that's the thing about UFC. I mean, one simple mistake, even if you are the best of the best. I mean, if you get caught by a punch you didn't think was coming or a kick you didn't think was coming, I mean, it's literally over like that. The belt can change in a matter of seconds.
I know, right? I know. So, UFC has a big pay per view almost once a month. What are you looking forward to in 264?
Well, of
Or the next
course.
couple of fights that you really focused on? That we should be, as UFC fans, what are the next several fights that we should be focused on?
Well, the next pay per view is 264, and the main event is Poirier versus McGregor 3. And anytime you hear McGregor's name coming up into a fight card, you know that that's going to be the fight to pay attention to because you never know what's going to happen with McGregor. He's the biggest name to ever set foot in the octagon. But the next week we actually got Chan Sung Jung, the Korean Zombie. He's coming back.
Mm,
He's a fan favorite. Everybody loves watching him fight. He lost against Brian Ortega, who actually is fighting for the 145 featherweight belt against Alexander Volkanovski coming up in September, I believe. But he's facing Dan Ige. Dan Ige is another one. He's coming up. He just came off a one-punch knockout against undefeated. I can't forget. I forgot his first name, but his last name's Tucker. Something Tucker. Gavin Tucker is his name, I believe. And I mean, he looked impressive. I mean, he literally didn't need to take any time off, so they gave him Chan Sung Jung. And it's gonna be a great fight. And then after that, you got two heavyweights and the massive 6'7" Russian Alexander Volkov versus the Frenchman Cyril Gahn. The two guys looking to put their name in the heavyweight belt conversation. As I believe Gahn is the favorite there, but seeing a heavyweight weighing about 250 pounds, 245, and do Muay Thai like Cyril Gahn being light on the feet, it's crazy. I think he's a name that you've got to watch out for.
sounds like
And
Ivan Drago, man, from Rocky 3. Good lord.
yeah, he's a freak of nature for a heavyweight. But I mean, UFC 264 it has Sean O'Malley, Sugar Sean O'Malley. He's a fan favorite. One loss, but I mean, he's crazy. Anytime he fights, he's one of them guys who has one punch knockout power, some of the fastest kicks you ever seen. And you also got Wonder Boy Stephen Thompson, the nicest dude maybe in all of UFC, facing Gilbert Burns, who his last fight was against Kamaru Usman for the welterweight title, but Usman beat him by TKO, and that'd be a great fight. Which really, there's three great fights right off the bat for UFC 264. It's a great month coming up. A bunch of great fights to look forward to.
Well, I'm excited. I'm gonna tell you what I'm even more excited for. To read your write up of UFC 264 the night before the fight. So, hey, everybody listening, tuning in right now, go to maineventsports101.com, read my man's write ups. We'll do this again after UFC 264, kind of break down the action, what you saw. So, hey, don't forget to subscribe and like, and tell us what was your fight? What surprised you about UFC 263? Leave in the comments below. We'll chat back and we'll keep chatting in with you and talking with you and keep this conversation going on the YouTube channel. So pay attention. It's all coming up soon. MainEventSports101.com. Check out my man Devin Hall. I'm telling you, this is going to be the next like future MMA journalist. This guy right here. He's the man with the plan. Don't let the country accent fool you. He may
Yeah.
sound like Hillbilly Jim, but he'll bring it. I'm telling you.
Hey, that's what I'm shooting for. But I was going to say, for the main three fights, the winners tonight, I want to end on giving a prediction on what I think's coming up next for them for the next fights. Is that
Go,
cool?
hey, right ahead. So the screen
All
is
right.
yours.
All right. So first off, with Leon defeating Nate Diaz, Dana White's already came out and said Kobe Covington is next for Usman. Their first fight, they fought each other. One of the best welterweight fights of all time. Arguably the best, in my opinion, the best. I love the fight. Great fight. but they're fighting again, having a grudge match. Huge rivals is going to bring in so many views for UFC. But after that, he's already said Leon gets the shot. So Leon's already in line to get his title shot finally after 10 straight wins. So I say it's going to be him versus Usman because I believe Usman will easily beat Kobe Covington this time just because Usman's arguably the third best to ever do it. I mean, by the end of his career, he's going to be in the GOAT conversation, maybe the Mount Rushmore of UFC because he's just unreal. His
That's
physique's
huge.
unreal.
That's
But it's
huge.
going to, him and Leon, if they fight each other, it's going to be an amazing fight. That next for Moreno, though, the brand new flyweight champion, the fourth champion ever in the 125 division. And I think that he will face Askar Askarov, the Russian. Um, they could do Figueiredo and Moreno 3 because it's such a great fight. The flyweight division's super weak. It's very top heavy. But Askar Askarov has came in, won very easily in his last few fights. I think he deserves a shot before Figgy gets his shot. Figgy didn't look too good tonight. He looked like he was exhausted from his weight cut. He only got his weight down to 125 with, I think, 10 to 4 seconds to spare before time ran out yesterday. So he cut so much weight. I think he should move to 135 for bantamweight. But I think Moreno and Askarov, that'd be a great fight. But I'd take Moreno in that. I think he'll defend the belt for his first chance at that ever. And then Adesanya, I mean, middleweight, he's beat the cream of the crop pretty much. He's for sure number one, but you got to do Robert Whitaker and Adesanya too. Whitaker is the man that Adesanya beat to get the belt to start his reign as the middleweight champion. They haven't fought yet again, and Whitaker has fought 2 or 3 times, but each time he's fought, I know for sure Cannonier, Darren Till, and Kelvin Gastelum. Those 3 fights right there were in between his last fight between Adesanya when he lost his belt. He has easily handled all 3 of those opponents. I mean, he looks like he's no doubt the number one contender. There's no other option besides Robert Whitaker. It has to be Adesanya Whitaker. It's a huge fight, huge rematch. I think it'll be an absolute banger. Like that could be one of the best fights of the year whenever it happens.
Hey, you heard it here first. Main Event Sports Show. Devin Hall. I can't wait to talk to you again, brother, till we get this. And I can't wait to read your next write up. Hey, everybody, check it out. Main Event Sports 101.com. If you want to see this man, I'm telling you, Devin Hall knows what he's talking about. So like and subscribe so you can catch all his updates coming to Maven Sports Show. And go, like I said, go to Maven Sports Show 101.com, our website. You can read his reviews. His write ups are going to be there. He's the truth. I'm telling you. He knows what he's doing. Hey, Devin, thanks for joining a part of the team here, becoming a
Hey,
part of the Main Event Sports Show family.
hey, not a problem. I'll be here for the long run.
Hey, there we go. Hey, want you guys to keep tuning in. Don't forget, like and subscribe, and we'll see you soon on the Main Event Sports Show.
We'll see y'all.
Peace.